Milady, Chapter 9, Nail Structure and Growth. I've got these parts of the nail all up here, but I have natural nail, also known as the onyx. By the way, I curled my hair for you guys today. But the natural nail is also known as the onyx. It's composed mainly of keratin that's harder, okay, than the keratin in your skin or your hair. Obviously, our skin and our hair moves around. Our nails pretty much do not. They might have a little bit of flex to them, but not a lot. It is an appendage of the skin, and it is part of the integumentary system. Okay. Oh, I already had that on there. Can reflect the general health of the body. I know I've told you guys before, I'm tripping over the heater, never mind me, that I can always tell when I'm getting sick because my nails will start breaking. So, and that doesn't work so much for everyone, but it can be an idea of, oh, maybe something's coming on. Maybe I need to get a little more rest. Maybe I need to take better care of myself. So, but it can reflect the general health of the body. Possibly a test question there. It is firm but flexible, shiny, smooth, kind of whitish. I don't have any polish on mine today, and I doubt that you can see it from that far away. But you can probably see that's, you know, they're pink and white. Those are my own nails. They're a little rough from all the hand washing going on. But the pink color actually comes from the nail bed underneath, okay, where your blood and everything is underneath. That's where the pinkness comes from. Your nail doesn't grow out pink and then turn white. Okay, your nail is that kind of whitish, almost see-through-y, translucent color, and then the pink that you see is from the blood from the nail bed. Okay, in some races the nail bed might be a little more yellow. So don't freak out if you see somebody that has a little more yellowish rather than pinkish there. But if they look bluish or if they look very white, that can be an issue with the circulatory system. They're not getting good enough circulation to their hands or to their feet if you're looking at their toes. So that is something to pay a little bit of attention to. You know, if they're having some issues, that could be a little red flag for you. The water content can vary, but it's usually between 15 and 25%. Okay, that is kind of the average. It can be more, it can be less, but that's the average. And less water makes the nails more rigid. So if the nails are very rigid, they may be a bit dehydrated. Okay, so if there's less water in those nails, they're going to be a little more rigid. Things that you can do to help that is use maybe an oil-based conditioner to reduce the moisture loss that they're getting, because nails are a bit porous. Water does go through the actual nail plate, obviously not through the nail bed, or we would just kind of melt away. But you can use, and nail oil will help, okay, to keep those a little bit more moisture in there to keep them from being so rigid. Okay, so I'm going to go into the parts of the nail. The nail plate is made of dead cells. Those are dead cells that grow up out of the matrix. It is hardened keratin. The nail plate is what you see. It's what covers that nail bed. It is the most visible. It is the most functional. It's relatively porous, which I already said. It actually slides up the nail as it grows. Just like your hair grows from the root, from the scalp, your nails grow from the matrix, which is back underneath here. It's formed by matrix cells. It's really thin a lot of times. You know, some people have a little bit thicker, some people have a little thinner. But there really is about 100 layers there of cells. So those cells are teeny tiny, but there's about 100 layers to the nail plate. Okay, and the free edge is the part that extends past the end. It's the white that you see at the end, okay, over the tip of the finger or the toe. Okay, the nail bed. These are live cells. This is where the red comes from, or the pink on the front of the nail that you see through the nail plate. Okay, the nail bed is what's underneath there. It's live skin. It's living skin that supports the nail plate, supplied with lots of blood vessels, a lot of nerves in there. You know, when you slam your finger or you drop something on your finger or you hit it with a hammer, how much pain there is there. That is because there are a lot of nerves in there too. It is attached to the plate by a thin layer of tissue, which is called the bed epithelium. Test question. But the bed epithelium helps guide the plate along the nail bed as it grows. There are no sweat glands in the nail bed. Okay, there are in the skin around, but not in the actual nail bed. Okay, matrix is the next one. It's where the cells are formed that slide out and create your nail. Okay, there are nerves, there's lymph, there's blood vessels there. And that's what nourishes those matrix cells to grow out. It extends from underneath the nail fold at the base of the nail. I did get that on there. The visible part of the matrix is the lanula. Okay, some people don't have one. Sometimes you're going to see it on 1 or 2 fingers and not on the rest of the fingers. But it is there. I promise it's there. Otherwise you wouldn't have fingernails. Okay, so it's the... But the lanula is that whitish half moon shape that's right at the base of the nail. And like I said, sometimes it doesn't show, but it's there. If there is an injury to the matrix, oh, right there, if it's damaged, it can change the growth and appearance of the nail. Okay? If that heals, your nail will eventually go back to its normal appearance. But if it is something that we all know somebody that has slammed their finger in a car door when they were a kid and their nail is just a little bit deformed. Okay, we all know someone like that. Most of us know somebody that maybe is missing a toenail or something like that, where it just, the matrix was destroyed when they were young, you know, through an accident or, you know, through a disease of some kind, can do that too. All right, cuticle is dead skin. Okay, the cuticle is the dead skin that we push back with the cuticle pusher. It is colorless. It's kind of sticky. It sticks to your nail. It seals the space between the plate and the eponychium. Okay, this is why we don't cut, because a lot of times you're not actually cutting the cuticle. You get to cutting in the eponychium, which is the skin behind there, and that will bleed. So, which I believe I've got up here somewhere. Okay, but it seals that space so germs and bacteria can't get in there and cause nail diseases. Okay, which is their next chapter, and it's a tough one. So just know that's coming. Cuticle removers will speed up the removal of the cuticle. It'll help unsticky that a little bit so that you can push that back and maybe remove some of it. You don't want to remove all of it because that is what's keeping the germs from getting underneath there. Okay, softeners and moisturizers are actually for the eponychium, but we call them cuticle softeners and cuticle moisturizers, even though they're for the eponychium, for the living skin that's, you know, on the cuticle comes out from. So, but yeah, the softeners and moisturizers, even though we call them cuticle softeners and cuticle moisturizers, cuticle cream, are actually for the eponychium and the hyponychium and the lateral sidewalls. Okay, so since we are already onto that, the eponychium is the living skin at the base of the nail. Okay, the cuticle is the dead skin that kind of is attached to your actual nail. The eponychium is the skin at the base, and it's often mistaken for the cuticle. Don't cut it. Okay. Perinechium is the living skin bordering the root and the sides of the nail. The hyponychium is between the fingertip and the free edge, and it also is a protective barrier. Mine is much thicker on my right hand, or on my index finger, because that is the nail that I use to lift those perm rods, the rubber bands, to put my stabilizers in. I'm always using that fingernail to lift those. And so as a result, the hyponychium underneath there on my, just that finger, is a lot thicker than all the rest of my fingers. Because it is a protective barrier. It's protecting my hand and my nail. Nail folds are on the sides of the nails. They form the nail grooves. You all have pictures of all of this in your book. So if you can just follow along, that's great. The sidewall is also known as the lateral nail fold. It is the skin that overlaps on the sides of the nail. Okay, and then there are specialized ligaments that attach the nail bed and the matrix to the bone underneath, because we just did chapter 6, you know, and there's a bone under there, and it's all got to be attached to that underlying bone. Okay, growth. Next page, I guess. Yep, growth. Okay, a little note here. No product or procedure can make the nail grow thicker. If they have very thin nails, nothing that you do, nothing that you put on can make it grow thicker. Okay, you can make it feel thicker. You can, you know, use hardening products and things like that. You can put gel polish is always a good thickener, but it doesn't actually thicken the nail. It just puts it on top so it feels thicker. Gives it maybe a little more strength, because the matrix is what determines how thick your nails are. Average growth is 1/10 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch per month, which doesn't seem like very much, but when you're talking about that little bit, I probably got 1/4 of an inch or better. Just, you know, and that's seen, people think my nails sometimes are long. They're very short. Those of you that know me know they're very short right now. Children's nails grow faster. Everyone's nails grow faster in the summer. Pregnancy, especially that 3rd trimester, with your hormones going crazy and the blood flow and all of that, your nails, excuse me, your nails will grow faster, but they do slow down immediately once you have given birth to that child. It slows back down and gets back to your normal growth. They grow slower on elderly people, and they grow slower in the winter. No reasoning for that. That's just what has been said. I really don't notice that so much myself. Mine grow pretty fast all the time. So the fastest one is the middle finger. The slowest is the thumb. And toenails grow slower than fingernails. Okay. Something I don't have on here are nail malformations, because chapter 10 is all about diseases and disorders of the nails and things that are malformed in the nail. But they can be temporary and they can be permanent. Just depends on what caused the malformation. One thing is, nails, test question, do not shed like hair. Okay, your nails don't shed unless you have one of those nail diseases. So, but they don't shed like hair does. As we age, the matrix slows, and sometimes in certain spots doesn't produce more cells. This causes grooves in the nail. They are not ridges. You know, Bow's lines go across ways, not up and down. You should never file those down. You guys will have to look at mine when you come in, because mine are very much, I can't tell where I'm at. I'm going to put my nail here, and there is absolutely nothing on it. But I want you to be able to see, whew, there it is, see the ridges that are on my nails. And that is just because of age. Okay, as I've aged, some of the matrix cells aren't growing as fast in some places as others. You could buff that a little bit, but you're much better off to use a ridge filler base coat to make that nice and smooth, because you know, if you just put regular base coat on there and regular polishes on there, those ridges are still going to show through the polish. So you could buff them a little bit if their nails are thick to begin with, but my nails are not thick, so ridge filler is going to be your best friend for people that have nails like that. So if you're doing people that are a little bit older, and honestly, mine started doing that in my 40s. So I blame that on being a nail biter when I was younger, but who knows. But you should never take a hard file, 100 grit or something like that, and file those off, because that's just going to make the nail thinner. Okay, and that is it for chapter 9, and we'll see you next time.